And so when you were looking at what you needed, how did you go through this build versus buy process? Because I know a lot of companies are looking at, should we get a third party or should we jump on it and start to build it ourselves?
Yeah, always the first question you want to ask. I think um, we also asked ourselves the same question too. And I think what really helped us figure out whether we should build or buy is we turn to our team. We say like, hey, if we had the ideal platform where every problem that we're facing today and maybe for the foreseeable future is taken care of, what would that look like? What would the requirements for that look like? And so we had, I remember, something like a multi-day brainstorming session where we're all just sitting down and writing like, okay, in the ideal world, um, I'd break this down into we broke it down into three groups or three pillars, and I actually realized that these three pillars aligns really closely with what Phil had talked about last week on this meetup as well, which is we talked about the data side, then we talked about the services and the serving side, and then last we talked about the management side. And although those pillars are not the exact same words that say Phil had chosen, I think his were data, software, and governance. Um, I think they match up pretty closely though. And for each of those, we ended up defining, okay, what are our requirements? For data, we need some way for our data scientists to easily find data within our organization. We need some way for us to reduce training serving skew. We need real-time live updates for our machine learning features. Then on the serving side, we needed ways to have feedback pipelines be built out either real time or in a slower batch moving way. We needed to record every single prediction that took place or inference across all of our models, as well as be able to handle that within our A/B testing and experimental platform. Um, and then on the management side, being able to manage all versions of new models that are coming out, all model projects, and then all sorts of data that's coming through this. And so as we started writing everything down, we said, okay, there is not one platform that can do all of this for us. And then it becomes a question of we matching things. Well, given the way that development moves in this kind of space, how it's so rapid, we might choose that we're going to go with this platform today for the data side, but then tomorrow we might see it's not compatible with our upgrades on the serving side or on the management side. And so that's where we sat back and said, okay, I think it makes sense to build here. And we had the expertise in house, which was really great for us to convert some of our general software engineers into machine learning engineers and data scientists that could help us build this out from within. And we did some hiring, of course, but I think largely we did have great experience within the organization.
And I'm wondering, how big was the team that embarked on this journey?
That's a great question. I think so. We had like 4 or 5 data scientists and 5 to 6 machine learning engineers. And just to be really specific, the difference between these two groups of people are data scientists and our team are primarily responsible for developing machine learning models, whereas machine learning engineers are primarily responsible for developing machine learning services. So all the deployment side of things. Sometimes there'll be some overlap because people have some expertise as well. And just because as projects grow and expand, there could be something there. But largely speaking, that's the breakdown. And actually, since then, we haven't grown too much. I want to say we've probably added one or two more data scientists or 1 or 2 more machine learning engineers, but our output capacity has definitely grown to the point where, we had a handful of ML use cases back in 2018, and that's exploded to the point where we're, nearing the 30s and 40s, where
Wow.
it would take us on the order of say 6 to 8 months to have one use case from inception or like ideation to out there in production. But now it's on the order of like say a month where we can get something out there and get the ball rolling, which is really great.